the square, the brick to go. Yeah, bring that back and then come plug that up. Ugh. All right, bro. I'm ready to rock it.
I think we're live. I think I must forget the no, man. Anyway, anyway, welcome to the Brothers and Influence podcast,
Wow.
where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in areas of life, leadership, and community. As you can see, I forgot the intro, but that's okay. My name is Shawte, and I am your thought coach and your leadership consultant. And I'm here with my main man with the pink headphones on, Shirrod.
That I won't pretend like I ain't in my feelings a little bit about that. You just go now. What if nobody else saw that though? They might have been thinking they was red. He said with the pink. As yes, I
I'm
am a girl
colorblind.
dad. Yeah, so my headphones broke. So hey, y'all ain't about to put me on blast. My headphones broke. So I had to go to my backup. My backup was my 11-year-old daughter. I was like, hey, baby girl, I need some headphones. I gotta get on this podcast. She's like, sure, daddy. Here's what I got. And I'm like, hmm. So pink it is. Pink it is. Hey, this is your boy Shirrod Ledet, aka the leadership locksmith, aka the professor, the growth coach of Greater Lexington. Man, hey, I'm excited. I'm also just thrilled to be back on here again. Hey, and to be shoulder to shoulder, even though our man is not here, Ian Williams. He's in here. He's here in spirit, but shoulder to shoulder with these guys on here right now with my man Shawte. Uh, yeah, just excited, just happy to be here. Um, yeah. Um, and I guess let's even just do this. Can just keep our brother Ian in prayer. The reason why he isn't here is the family's experienced a loss, which is never easy, right? But we here just to support, continue to pray and lift him up. So yeah. All right, Shawte, what we got today, bro? How's your week been? How's everything been going for you?
Been a pretty good week. Better than I have to say better than the previous week or two, or maybe even three. But hey, you know, uh, when you're in a leadership position, oftentimes uh, you're called to go over and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'm grateful, absolutely grateful for the opportunity to be a leader uh, and exercise my gift as a leader. Right, being able
Mm-hmm.
to lead people uh, in the proper way, not just being. The guys they used to also call me boss. I'm like, you can call me what you want to call me, but we're a team
Right.
because, and I tell them about, I've told them about how generally how the pyramid of leadership goes. The boss, he's at the top and trickles down to the people. And I
Right.
told them, I say, I don't view it like that. I view it the opposite way. Uh, I'm there to help you guys. What do you need from me? Because if the buck stops with me. If you guys do something wrong, I'm getting blamed. I can't go and say, "Oh, well, my tech did this," or da 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 da. So I need to know what you guys need from me so that we can do the best job we can do, right?
Right.
And so yeah, I'm really grateful for that, for this opportunity to exercise my gift in that area, and being able to uh, be on the podcast with you guys and be able to share uh, my experiences and get insight week after week with you guys.
Mm. Yeah. No, I feel that. Yeah. I'm always grateful too. And I'll be honest, like for me, week's been pretty good. Like these past 2 days though, been kind of rough. Like I love the fact that so I even take it back. So even just speaking to where you were just talking about leadership, man, I would definitely say my leadership was challenged over these last 2 days. And this is why I
Okay.
would say it was challenged these last 2 days. Um, because I literally had to make adjustments and reschedule my schedule, right? Based on just some, I ain't gonna say like, well, no, some emergencies, so to speak, at my other business with the childcare, the daycare. So basically I had to step in and rearrange my whole schedule, right? So I could be there and help, right? So like what you said with leadership, man, leadership isn't straight. It's not always pretty. It's not always like you got to make adjustments, but you got to be the one to go out front and lead. So yeah, I had it. It was a little challenging. So, but one of the things that I learned, or what I took away from these past 2 days, or just even into this week, was patience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Patience was big for me this week, and not even just patience with other people, but more patience with myself, because I found that I was getting um overwhelmed a little bit, or even just because, again, being siege, right? I got a schedule. I got a process in which, and my whole process got thrown off a little bit. Like I had some different guidelines or some different deadlines that I was looking to hit, and I just found myself just being a little bit more on edge, and not because I had to make adjustments. And like you were talking about, like just with leadership, I understand that it's you have to be flexible and you have to be adaptable, right? And let's even go, even bring it into now full circle, right? The disc, that's our area, that's what we love, like the adaptability. And that's really just bringing up another level of self-awareness, bringing up just another level of really identifying within myself that even though I might have thought I was a very patient person, or I had a level of patience, it was still being challenged.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, this the end of the week, and then of course, just as we mentioned with, our brother who then experienced the loss, that also threw me off a little bit too, because I'm just like, man, I got, how can I help? How can I support? And make sure that he's good. Not saying that it was an inconvenience, but it was just that's life, man. and
Yeah.
and for leadership, it's really being able to juggle, kind of even navigate those various different things. Just even thinking about last week when we were just talking about, being able to kind of visualize or see in that landscape and being able to navigate it. I found myself in a landscape this past couple, or this week, in these past couple of days. It just was a little bit challenging. It challenged my patience a lot.
Yeah. And that happens because like we talk all the time. It's this isn't for us. It isn't just a podcast. It isn't just the business, right? Uh, we family,
Hmm.
right? So when one person hurts, we all hurt. And like you often say, our fearless leader. That's we see Ian as our leader because this is a vision that was birthed through him. Uh, and so anytime things arise with any of us, over the last couple years since we've been rocking, right? It's
Hmm.
it hurts when somebody else is hurt, right? He not here with us because of that, but it's okay. He's uh we're praying for him, and we're here. I know he knows that we're here for him.
Right. Right.
And uh you mentioned vision, right? About you know I was thinking this week about the question that people will propose to others, that what if what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail, right? Often people propose that to people because they want them to think broader, right? To engage in their vision. And when I was thinking about that this week, I'm like, man, it's because that's an awesome question. But let's move that question forward into to a person who's in business, right? Who has that vision and who's walking in it. And to bring it forward, you have to ask the why part of that, right? Because if it's a person that wants to do something, they haven't did it, maybe they don't know. I'm asking them that question: what would you do if you couldn't fail? So that they can say, okay, I want to be a business owner that does X, Y, and Z. And then from there, you're saying, okay, so you saying you want to do this thing, this business, all right? I'll just use myself example. I wanted to start a greeting card company. So if someone asks me that question, like, well, I want to start a greeting card company because I want to give people that's in prison the opportunity to send their loved ones special gifts that don't cost a lot. That would kind of been like one of my answers, right? So now that I'm in it, to move that question forward, okay, how are you going to do that, right? And so that's kind of what I've been thinking about, that the juxtaposition of those two questions, moving it forward to a person that's in business and doing stuff, because oftentimes we get in business and we're still not doing our vision. We're in business and we might be doing good, but we're still not walking in our purpose within that business because we get caught up in business, right?
Yeah, that's good, man. And that's interesting because one of the things that I've, just as a growth coach and dealing with and helping business owners kind of answer that question,
And I am
right? Like
representing Growth
basically
Coach.
say, hey,
Just to let you know, I'm representing Growth Coach today. Better business, better results, better life.
yes,
Just throw
sir,
that.
yes,
Just want
sir.
to throw that in there.
You want to throw that in there? Right, but like, so it's one of the kind of the underlining or the foundational component of, again, even with dealing with business owners or just helping business owners kind of answer that question, right? Because you're absolutely right. We get into business and we have a vision, um and I love it, like you said, like, if you couldn't fail, what would that look like? What would you do? And business owners get into business, but sometimes they're so focused on working in the business that they forget to work on the business, right? And the aspect that really kind of pulls us into that is that we have a technical skill set. So it's really that comfort area, right? That area in which I know what to do. How, and this is really where I can, but as a business owner, when you start getting into it, just the business acumen, right? There's other aspects of a business that we always got to remember, when it comes in, when we're looking to create that vision, that and that job and that business that we've envisioned, that it's our passion and, like you said, our purpose. Then we also got to understand and look just at the bigger picture and not just what we're doing specifically as far as this product or service, or what the business and the vision was intended to or designed to do. And it's funny because you bring it up, and I would even have to say that was something that I'm even thinking about, or even kind of walking myself through now, even as a growth coach now. And again, that being a franchise, even, my first time dealing with a franchise. But here's what I found, Shawte, bro, like these first 3 months, or really the first 2 months, I'm on calls, I'm talking with other coaches, I'm talking with, the people that give the support back at the franchise, back at the headquarters, different things like that. But I'm having conversations, and I found that in my conversations, when I'm kind of giving a report, kind of giving it like a progress of where I'm at and stuff, I was really speaking from an employee standpoint versus an owner standpoint, right? So my mindset at that particular point was like, I have a franchise, I have this business, it is mine, but for some reason it didn't click that I own the business,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it was like I saw it, and this was a part of my vision. It was the whole vision and all that, but it was just that mindset that I had of, I don't know, like, I'm an employee. And then I had a conversation and I literally realized, no, you're not an employee. You're a business owner. This is your business, your vision. Take it and execute.
Mm.
From that moment, I was like, oh, right. And then immediately I had to start rethinking my approach. I had to rethink just what I was doing with my business. And I think that's important for anybody who's listening, whoever, anybody that's watching, even those in the community that have businesses or they're, look, I was stuck for a moment in the mindset of an employee. I was stuck, but I wasn't out. I might have been
Mm.
stuck, but I wasn't fit. Like I was stuck in that moment, but it took someone that helped me to identify, look, bro, you're not an employee, you're a business owner. I need you to switch that mindset. And as soon as I switched that mindset, I was able to identify, okay, all right, I got to switch gears here. I had to adjust. I had to
Yeah.
reset. So,
I think that's really awesome. Uh, and I believe business owners can relate to that because when it's something new, whether your vision or not, you're not used to it. So yeah, you most likely will act like an employee, right? Just act like an
mhm,
employee. You know, even though you're the boss, you might have a couple employees and you're telling them what to do, but you're really acting like a manager, not like a
mhm,
business owner within the business. And I think those are some of the key things that are important for us to understand going into business ownership, entrepreneurship, right? Uh, whatever it might be. If I'm a person, if I'm not necessarily anything we do, we have to be more business minded. Whether you're
mhm,
making investments or whatever, it's just like if I put $100 into a stock today, uh, and it goes down to where I see I got $80, I don't really get $80. I don't got nothing until I make the sale.
mhm,
So yeah, I lost $20, but I can't really say I lost anything until I cash out.
mhm,
And we have to think like that. And that's what people that do investments, that's how they think. Oftentimes people think long term. So they're not thinking about that jumping in, jumping out, that day trader, them swing traders and things like that. They're thinking long term with their investments, and that's why they're not every day looking at, okay, it went up, it went down, it went up, it went down. You know what I'm saying? But as a
right.
business owner, that's what we have to think long term, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. We have to
Mhm,
think where I'm starting this business, or I'm starting this new adventure. Where am I going with it? Right? And that's why people ask for business plans, or action plans. I like to think of a business plan as an action plan versus a business plan, because it should be your business plan should be telling you where you're going, and you should be following that script. Now things change, right?
mhm,
Opportunities arise that which
mhm,
can help you grow faster, quicker,
mhm,
uh, in a different direction, right? Your vision sways, but you can still be going the same way. But
mhm.
yeah, I think that's a very important concept about, as a business owner, a employee versus a business owner. So
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's a mindset. A lot of business owners, they may have been an employee first before they were a business owner, right? And that mindset switch isn't always easy. But again, it's all like you said, the vision. And I think that's always important to know and understand that again, like you said, you got to know the influence and you got to know where you're going. So again, like Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind. If I know where my goal is or where I'm headed to, then it's going to be a little bit easier for me to navigate and chart that path. And like you said, what a business plan does, it's a roadmap, right? A roadmap tells you how to get there, but it also tells you various different ways to get there. What a roadmap does, but with a business plan, you have the overall vision. You know what the goal is, but you do have to, as a business owner, you do have to be, or even as an entrepreneur, period, you have to be adaptable and flexible. And you have to be able to navigate that, because again, it's not a straight path. It's not always going to be the same way. And like you said, there could be some other opportunities that come. I think I would say, and add to that, that every opportunity doesn't necessarily mean that you have to jump on it, especially if it doesn't align. If the opportunity comes and it doesn't really align with what it is that you're trying to do, it could be more of a distraction or a hindrance than it does actually help you achieve. Because the goal is, at the end, is to try to achieve the vision, achieve the goal. And I think really when we look about just even how this conversation is kind of coming together, just as, you started off just talking about, again, with if that thing that I could do that I would not fail at, talking about our passion and our purpose. And then, I brought in kind of this whole business component and being a business owner and that employee mindset. It's really talking about being able to identify specifically, what are my goals, where am I going, and am I willing to go after it with the passion and the purpose that I feel is driving me towards that. And regardless, failure or not, I can achieve that. And it's funny, one of the things I was talking to my class this week, and I'm trying to think of what class it was. I don't remember what class it was, but we were talking about just this whole concept of success and failure. And it was interesting to me because those two dynamics are so intricately combined and tied together that it's almost like you can't talk about one without the other, and one leads to the other, right? You can't have success without failure, and failure leads to success. So you're like, right? But yet failure is the number one thing that I'm afraid of, but success is the number one thing that I want. But one of the things that came from the conversation is that our failure is really, really defined by really how we define our success.
Yeah.
Right. So what we might say is a failure may not really be a failure, because it may not match with our picture of success. Does that make sense? So it's like, so we don't need to fear failure as much as it really makes us think we are like, oh God, I'm afraid that I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to hit. I'm going to fail. Actually, it's really like, I even now find myself like, what have I failed at, and did I get the lesson? Because that's where the growth and all that comes, and that's just going to help me get to that vision a lot quicker, or even a lot more better and efficient and effective than if I just always succeed all the time.
Yeah. You was talking, it made me think about this scripture in Psalms 119 says, "Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path, a light unto my path. And I just want to, compare that to when we're talking about planning and business plan, right? Or you have a vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can, and that's pretty much what it's saying about the word, but just apply it to your vision, right? You know, your vision or your plan is a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. That's how you get to where you want to be. You know, just as God's word is something dear to me, and I want to follow that, I want to follow it based on what God wants for me in my life, and that's my direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I go to for direction, for understanding, for balance. And as a business owner, it's the same thing. When you have a plan, that's why I don't know, I don't care if you talking about business, somebody gonna ask you, what's your business plan? What's your business plan? How do you, because that gives you direction. That helps you understand the steps you need to take to get to where you want to be. Just like when we talk about coaching, me as a coach, I'm here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Same thing with your business plan. Helps you understand where you are and helps you to on that pathway to get where you want to be. And we just have to grasp the concept. People have been telling me about business plan for years. It's just like, okay. But there's a reason for it. Not, yeah, it's tedious. It helps you get clarity on your vision, right? Because it's there's going to be certain questions that being asked. whether you do it yourself or you have somebody do it, they're going to be asking you a boatload of questions to kind of get to the meat of what you want for your business. And oftentimes it's going to be clarifying because we just have this idea, but the idea hasn't been challenged. The idea hasn't uh hasn't the holes haven't been poked in. Not that it's not going to happen, but guess what? Those defining questions are important for us to understand, for us to really get to where we want to be, for us to really have that vision blossom into this beautiful flower that we desire.
Right, right. Yeah. And that's funny because it's you hear sometimes that or I've heard sometimes, and I get this question a lot, especially from my business students, and they always ask like, so do you have to have a business plan? And here's the answer. I mean, the reality, no, you don't have to have a business plan, right? You can go start a business without a business plan. Um, but is there value with a business plan? Yes. Right. And I would even say, Shawte, bro, that the value in the business plan is the fact that one, you write the business plan. So the first value is writing the business plan. And like you mentioned, that brings clarity because basically you're taking what's in your head and putting it on paper. So now you actually get to you get to see it, you get to read it. Does it make sense? Right. So you're going to get that clarity and then you're going to be able to fine tune it. Right. So going through the process of putting together a business plan is really more so for you from the perspective of clarifying your vision so you can have a clear picture of what it is it looks like that you're trying to accomplish. Right. And then I love it because, like, even when you're now having conversations about what it is you're trying to do with your business, you now have the ability to give someone a business plan. Or because you wrote out the business plan, you can talk to your business more like a business owner because you understand it. You have better clarity because you went through the process of actually writing out a business plan. And like we said, a business plan is a roadmap, which then allows you to then what? Make decisions. Because when it becomes a business owner, when you're looking at your business, you got to look at how am I making decisions? Are these the right decisions? Are these decisions helping me achieve my goals within my business? And here's the reality. The document, it is a working document. It's a living, breathing document. It's not just something you write and boom, it's done. You put it on the shelf and say, okay, that part of my business planning or my business is done because I got the business plan. No, it doesn't help you if you don't use it. You got to use it. And again, like we talked about being adaptable and adjustable, you got to be able to let that business plan be a living, breathing document to where you add to it or you take away. Because as you're walking through it, there might be some portions you'd be like, I see it shifting this way because or I need to add this or take this away. Because then you're talking about now market research. Now you're talking about looking at what the market is asking for. And then based on what it is that you're offering, does it meet the needs or does it solve the problem? And if it does, and if it doesn't, what are the adjustments that you need to make at that particular point?
Yeah. And another scripture, right? And most people have heard the one, write the vision and make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the other part of that is that so that it will so he that who reads it can run with it or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's even a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more of that actually too, but it's that's the same thing what we're saying, right?
Yeah, bro, because I mean the other aspect of it is not writing the vision for myself, but it's also writing for those who are with me, right? Those that are coming to help me. So the business plan and even like the other part of that scripture is that again, so the people don't perish,
Mhm.
right? Meaning not that I don't perish, but the people don't perish. Meaning that there's going to be others, right? There's no business, there's really no venture or nothing that we really do by ourselves. Right? There's nothing that we really do by ourselves. Even when I think about just brothers and influence, man, we're building a community. We're not doing this by ourselves. That's why it's brothers, not brother, right? Not just it just wasn't Ian. Ian had the vision. God put the vision in the passion and the purpose to try to put this thing together. But Ian also understood. He's like, bro, I can't. This ain't just for me to do by myself. I need some other people. I need Shawte. I need Shirrod, right? And then we came together. And then even as we were putting this thing together and walking it out, we did our first season of the podcast. We talked through it. We did it. It was great. But here we're in season 2. Now it has grown, but this was also a part of the whole vision, right? To build the community. And now we're speaking now, not just to ourselves and not to the idea of building a community, but now we're executing. We're building the community. And that was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Right. So now we can give the vision to other people. Now we can use and build the community to help other Black men, other that are looking to be leaders and entrepreneurs and trying to build their business, right, around life, leadership, and community, allowing them to understand, hey, you ain't in this alone. We're here with you. We'll rock with you. We'll share our experiences with you to help them get to their vision and their goals that they have.
Yeah. I think that was a great example of us just, Ian had the vision, and it wasn't nothing new. He'd been having it, had been marinating, and at the, So let me read that scripture too, because I got it. So
okay.
It's not the King James, but it says, it says, record the vision and inscribe it on tablets, that the one who reads it may run. For the vision is yet for appointed time. It hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it, for it will certainly come. It will not delay. So, understanding the Bible perspective of it, but that's kind of a great example of with Ian, right? He had this vision, and he didn't let it go. He knew that it was something God put in him. He knew it was a passion for him. And at the appointed time, right? I came into play. You came into play. There's other brothers in the background that aren't on the podcast, but those things came into play. And over the last year, it's constantly been manifesting. And when we started out this year, we were even more happy and excited than it was when we first started, because we know that God is even working in the midst of
yes.
It isn't just about us. We're not doing it, we're being benefited of it. We're the fellowship we have with one another, but it ain't about us, right? It's about the vision. The vision is bigger than all of us, right?
So. Yeah. But hey, and not to call my man out a little bit, but you remember when we even started this whole conversation and before we got everything launched, and then we was doing basically what we're kind of doing right now on the back end, trying to figure out like how we gonna get this thing going. Remember, we was like, bro, hey Doc, we need you to write this down, right? Yeah. And he was like, what? It's like, write it down. Like what does it look like? All right, and he did it. Yeah. And I would definitely say it's because when he started writing it out, I just remember just the shift that happened, right? And we started really looking at because we saw it on paper, you were looking at it, I was looking at it, we were adding to it, we was moving through it, we were talking through it, and it just became what it is today, right? Season 2, episode 7, and we're sitting here and we're talking life, leadership, and community, right? Brothers of influence, man. Just a shout out to our man, our fearless leader, Ian, bro, and then just even to our community, man. Anybody who's watching right now, I know the conversation might seem like it's all over the place, but it's not. Just pay attention, right? Pay attention, and jump in the chat, drop some questions, drop some knowledge. Let us know if this is blessing you or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, success and failure is always going to be there, right? And really, the defining factor of that is really just going to be us on what it is that we're trying to do. And again, we've been talking about business, but success and failure is just in life in general, right? Even what we've been talking about with this business plans and business ownership and being leaders, that's just life in general. And that's why I love, like, even the fact of what we've been doing with this community and what we're trying to do. And but not, I ain't gonna say trying to do, what we're doing with this community is really talking through that life leadership aspect, which is life. It's me as a husband, me as a father, me as a son, me as a friend, me as a brother, right? Me as a business owner, me as an employee. It doesn't matter. All the concepts, all the aspects that we've been talking about is across the board. And I think that's even one of the challenges that really comes, because we try to compartmentalize, or we try to separate the things, when it's really, they should be building on each other. You know, they should be building on each other. So
Absolutely.
did you have something? Because I have
Go
a
ahead.
thought
Go
process.
ahead, brother.
Okay, yeah. Because when you read that scripture, there's a part in that scripture that you said that it said it will come without delay, or without delay. And it made me think about my man Pierre Quinn. So quick shout out to my man Pierre Quinn. And he had put a post out on LinkedIn. Um, um, And basically, it was about 5 days ago, and he said on there, he said, you can do all the right things and still experience a delay in getting to the next phase of your journey. Right. And I like it, because what I got from that, I ain't gonna say this is what he was saying, but this is what I got from it, is that, again, you can do all the right things and still experience delay. And I think that, even like you were saying with that scripture, that, again, we write it down, and it guides us, and it helps us, that even in getting there, we're going to experience delays. And then we think those delays are failures, when they're really not. They're just delays. And then he goes on, it goes on to say that, basically, by experiencing those delays, you still have to be patient. Right? Still do the work. Still be ready. Just because you have a delay doesn't mean that it's not coming. Right? Whatever that delay looks like, and I think it's very important for us to really identify the fact that, even though we could have the best plan, and we could be executing, like we're checking all the boxes, and we're like, okay, bet I got the business plan. I'm executing, and I'm building a team, and I'm doing all these things that, it's said to do to have a successful business, but you're still experiencing delay. Right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're failing. It doesn't mean anything. It just literally means it's a delay. But we also know that what comes after delay is basically movement in action, but you've got to continue to keep moving. So when you read that popped in my mind, and I'm like, ooh, I had to share that, because that was good.
Yeah. What's read that again for me? What he said?
You would say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would say that. Boom. Okay. It stayed up there. I was afraid I was going to lose it. So he said, again, I quote from my man Pierre Quinn, you can do all the right things and still experience a delay in getting to the next phase of your journey.
Yeah. And so I thought, I think it was last year, it might have been a year before, I wrote an article on LinkedIn, failure, the stepping stones to success. And that made me think about that, but also made me think about another scripture. Scripture says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but the longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And anytime we're growing, whether it's in business, whether it's in personal life and relationship, we're growing, there's a time for it to go to that next level. And oftentimes we want to push it forward. We want to make it quicker. But if we skip unnecessary steps, in the long run, there's going to be unnecessary failures. Right. And when I say unnecessary failures, I mean that you trip, you fall, because you try to get to your destination too fast without being prepared for that next level. Right. And just think about it. It happens in relationships, it happens in business, friendships, whatever it might be. And so I'm saying this to say, right, when we have a vision, when we have something that's just so powerful inside of us, we know what's going to happen when it manifests, right? We know greatness is going to manifest when we get there. But at the same time, we just have to remember that there's steps to get into your success, right?
Mm.
And so you might, but on the way you might meet somebody that helps you jump steps. But at the same time, right? Shirrod could tell me, I can tell Shirrod, well, this is where I'm at in my business, man. I feel like I'm stuck. And he'd be like, well, you know what? If you do this, this might help you get out of that rut and help you get to the next level of, getting to a 200,000 this year. I'll just give an example. Maybe I'm saying I made 180 last year. I want to get to 200, 250, but I'm stuck, right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, why do we get stuck? We get stuck because we can't, even though we have this vision, right? We see, like I said earlier, we might be in that employee mode, even though we're the business owner. We can't see that next level. So
Mm-hmm.
Shirrod gives me the counsel I needed, and he's like, well, maybe you should try this. And so now I'm excited about that. There's nothing wrong with being excited about it. At the same time, it still has to be, it has to be done right. That's the key thing. It still
Right.
has to be done right. He's helped me jump through a few hoops, but it still has to be done right. So that what? When I get to this at the end of the year, I get to that 250, right? I have to be able to sustain it. That's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. I have to be able to sustain it. So, growth is a process, and being able to sustain that growth is also a learning experience that we have to not only grasp and understand, but we have to make it has to be real and realize that, guess what, for me to be able to do this, uh sometimes you got to pull other people in, right? Now I might have to pull that accountant in because that's what's missing. The accountant is
Mm-hmm.
what's missing because the money was there last year, but I really don't know how to how to work this money thing, right? And now this
Mm-hmm.
account come in, and guess what happened? Not only do the account come in, I thought I was gonna make 250. I'm at 300, right? Because now
Right.
I'm not just throwing around money. I'm thinking like a business owner, right? It isn't about spending this money and doing things like that, or even finding better ways to spend the money and get more benefits out of it in the long run.
Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good, bro. Because I mean, you're right. And that's the even the purpose, right, of the purpose of the community, right? Again, from career to calling, we all have that desire. We all have that vision, that one thing that again, like we go to sleep thinking about it. We wake up sleeping about it. We walk around thinking about it, right? But then when we start putting it into action, like, and it that happened forever. Like I can speak for myself, right? Once I identified what it was I wanted to do and how I wanted to coach and teach and build this business and all these different things, like, and I knew it, I felt it, and it was in my heart, it was in my mind, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna do it. And then when I started doing it, yeah, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it, and then I was like, uh, now what? Right now, wait a minute, like, hold on, everything's not working like I wanted it to work, or how do I now navigate this, or wait a minute, now like, what do I do, right? And what I heard, and one of the things that came to mind when you were talking through that, bro, is it's really about strategy, right? Being able
Yeah.
to build that strategy, and that strategy being making sure, one, that you know where it is that you're trying to go, like what's that goal, what's that vision, and then from there, you can do so much, right, by yourself or with your particular skill set or technical skills or whatever, but you still need help, you need other resources, you need a strategy. And like with your example, you say, you talk to me, and then I help you to identify the blind spots, right? Because we all have them. We all have blind spots. There's all those, you were able to get to 180, but now you're trying to get to 200 or 250, and you've been at that 180 for the past 3 years, and you're like, man, I've been doing the same thing. I've been trying to, and I don't know how I can get to that next level. And then I'm not going to, or any other coach, it's not really going to be something rocket science from the perspective that you really didn't know, but we just get stuck, right? We lose whatever it is, and then we help you to identify that and build that strategy. And the key is, it's usually getting other resources, that i.e. a CPA, or an accountant, or a marketing, so, or whatever that vice is, or that area that you're just not that strong, that is basically hindering you from getting to that next level. Because I find, for me, man, a lot of times, even when I'm identifying and trying to focus or trying to build, I'm focusing on the areas that I'm not the best at, because I'm trying to identify, like, how do I fix that? How do I get that? Or I'm trying to make sure that that's happening, when really I just need to operate in what my gift is and what my lane is, where I'm the best at, and build a team around me in the areas that I'm not so strong in. Because then that's going to allow me to be more effective and efficient in my ability to really do and build whatever it is I'm trying to build. You know, that career to calling. I mean, because we all have that calling. We all have that purpose, that desire, that passion that we're loving to do, and wanting to do, and are called to do it.
All right, Professor, Growth Coach, Leadership Locksmith. I need to get to that 250.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But yeah, it's all. I think it's just all about a process and having, like you said, career to call in, just having a community, and that's what this community that we're building is about. It's about having a place where you can be honest, a place where you can share without, worrying about somebody trying to take your idea or, but there's something about community. And Shirrod said earlier, you know, we can only get so far by ourselves. And I've said this before. You look at any inspirational company that you like, man, they did this, they did that. You don't just see one person. You can't just see one person. Why? Because as an individual, you can only do so much, right? I don't care I don't know what's the heaviest weight, the best bodybuilder that has ever lifted, but whatever it is, right? He may be able to do that by himself, but he can't do 2 times that by himself. He just can't. You can only
Mhm.
go so far by yourself. And if you have a vision that's truly bigger than you have to bring other people in for you to be successful in it, right? You just can't
Mhm.
do it by yourself. And that's
Right.
just that's part of life, right? You can
Mhm.
be the most loving person in the world, but you can't reach your full potential of loving others without you having somebody to love, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You could be the bird, and I think we all even have people like that in our family. The person that's the one that's always reaching out to other people, the one that's always trying to people that's in conflict within the family is trying to reach out to them. Hey man, y'all know y'all shouldn't be doing this. Come on, call such and such, right? But and they might be great, but when they get that other person that's equal to them, or that other soulmate or whatever you want to call it, right? That thing just explodes, right? They still the same person, but you just see the change in them there, and they're coming at you more with a more sense of urgency about, guess what? Life is short, and we're family, right? Or they're that conflict resolution person that's in the midst of their company. They're always the one reaching out to somebody in the company's like, man, hey, we're a company, we're a family. We can't be doing things like this, right? But their whole vision is that they're that person of love, or they're that conflict resolution person. Uh and they want things to be better,
Mhm.
not just good. They want it to be better. And so that's what our community is about. We're a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who want to go from career to calling, who want to be successful in that vision that they have. And we want that community to be there, so that whether you're at the beginning, you're just starting out in business, or you're at the you might be at the top trying to go to that next level, but you can still be here with like-minded people. Because just because you have $1 million company don't mean that the person that's trying to get that 100,000 company, you're not like-minded, because you were there
Mhm.
once, right? And if
Mhm.
you're at the 250,000 now, right? Like-minded people are like-minded. It has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with your the life that you grew up in the hood, or you grew up in Bel Air, you grew up, it don't matter. Like-minded is like-minded. It has nothing to do with your stature, or who you are in your community, or you could be a politician, you can still be like-minded as someone that grew up in the hood. So,
Yeah. Nah, that's good, bro. That's good. And I love it, man, because you're right. Like, even when you look at, like, the bigger companies, or the icons, right? Like the the ones that are like the major businesses and organizations, Yeah, they didn't do it by themselves. And and the thing that stood out to me when you was kind of just even bringing that up was the fact that literally their purpose and their cause and their mission and their vision and whatever it was had nothing to do with them, right? Their cause was bigger than them. And I think that that's important for us to really even highlight in this conversation, is because when your purpose, when you are really trying to accomplish something that is greater than you definitely can't do it by yourself. That because it's the fact that it's greater than you means that there are others, or there that you need someone around you like-minded, right, that has the same passion, vision, and so forth. Um, because I mean, the easiest one, right? The easiest one to cherry pick, just to give an example, is Apple, right? Steve Jobs again. If you go back and you look and listen to his speeches and his talks, and just him just talking about Apple and his whole goal, his whole vision, it had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with his opportunity to just give back and build these opportunities for other people, right? And then that's when other people got around him and got behind him to support him to actually build those different things, right? So yeah, it's having a cause that's bigger than ourselves, having a cause bigger than ourselves, and that just gives a whole nother energy, a whole nother level, and a whole nother motivator to what it is you do, right? um and to achieve anything, there's that African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others. And the truth behind that is that, again, your ability, you is maxed. Not saying that you can't grow, but it's maxed. But when you start getting with other people that have the ability, then it's a marathon, right? Uh, Success, all this marathon. I always look at it from the perspective of, and it's that real big marathon. I think like in track, I think it's like I don't know, is it like the 5,000 meter or something like that? But again, either way, it's a baton, right? Um oh, why am I forgetting what it is I'm trying to say? Like any relay, there you go. Like any
Yeah.
relay, you have a baton, right? And that's the whole thing about building success and building it with other people's. um you run your leg of the race, and your leg of the race might be, it might be 100 meters, it might be 200 meters, it might be 500 meters, it might be, I don't know. But when you get to the end of your race, or your
Hmm.
part of the race, stick, right? For those that don't know track and don't know what that means, when you say stick, that means the other person who's with you, or who's supposed to be running next, they put their arm out and you place the stick in their hand. They know at that particular point it's their turn, and now they got to put what they got into it, right?
Hmm.
To again, and the goal not even being about winning or even beating the other person, it's about completing the race. And I think sometimes we forget that too, right? That we're always looking at the competition and try to look at it. And I'm not saying don't be competitive, right? But I am saying being purposeful,
Hmm.
right? Still be competitive, because that's going to fight. I mean, that's going to just put some fight into you, because you don't want to be last, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be first in order to succeed and win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. You think you gave a great analogy with the racing, but when you were talking about it, when you mentioned that proverb, I thought about the geese, or how they fly. That formation they fly in, and how important it is. The person that the person, the one that's at the lead of the pack, they're taking the brunt of the force of that flying. And once they get tired, they'll fall back. Somebody else moves back to that formation, and yeah, that's that that teamwork, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're on a mission to go somewhere, and everybody has to work together to get there, to get to their destination.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and that's good, bro. Because I mean, the one in front, especially when you think about that formation, right? Like, and that's just you even think about that, right? Let me just like, God is he's just so amazing. like how he designed and got the geese to thinking. Just anyhow. But again, the one in the front, right? They're taking the blunt of that. But the ones that are behind, the even it just depends on where you fall in the line. You don't have to work as hard. What you're
Mm-hmm.
doing is resting and preparing yourself for when it is your turn and time to lead.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said, they'll go so far, they'll do what they can, and then they'll fall to the back, or however they regroup, and then you'll see them back in the V. But that's the goose that was leading before. It ain't the same one. Someone else got, and they didn't went to the back of the line so they can regroup, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's something about the airflow, and they don't have to use as much energy, and they don't have to like that whole. Yeah, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good analogy. I actually have, yeah, I'm gonna yeah, that's a good analogy, bro.
Oh, he got a word. Got a
Yeah,
word.
no, I was just saying I got a leadership class that I teach using the geese.
Yeah.
Even just to give you a little bit more context, right? You know, which one do you want? What and it's funny because we always identify leadership with like an eagle, like a lion, but it's interesting because you actually see leadership in all kinds of different areas. Now, I'm not discounting, disproving the eagle and lion aspect, right? Because those analogies are great and they still have power, right? I think they speak to the power, but yeah, goose versus eagle, right? Goose versus eagle. So
Awesome. Awesome. Man, I did miss my brother today. Most definitely, Ian. Is our continually be on our prayers uh this week and moving forward. Thank you guys for continuing to support us. Shirrod, what would you leave? What would you be your last word of wisdom as we get ready to end today?
um man, if I could just even kind of just even piggyback and just borrow a little bit more of my man Pierre, we're going to experience delays. Um, but just because you experience a delay doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going or moving towards your goal. It's just a delay. It's just an obstacle. But kind of again, what we talked about throughout this episode, the plan, the vision, the goals. Make sure you have those in place. Make sure you're looking at those. Use those. Identify those like-minded people. Get those resources necessary because again, we can experience delays, but just because you have a delay does not necessarily mean that you're not moving forward, that you not will not uh, achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Right?
Awesome.
Keep going after it. Um, yeah, a delay is not the end.
Awesome. I would say that we all have vision. We all have hopes of something greater than where we are at this moment or this moment in time in our lives. And I would just encourage you to keep on the journey, keep pedaling the bike, don't give up, don't be afraid to share your vision because you
Mm,
never know who's on that same journey with you, right? That person, that person that's there to maybe plant a seed into your life. They might not even be there a long time, right? We've
mm,
heard plenty of stories about individuals who are successful now, and they'll tell a story about someone that they might not even know that just touched their lives. That was the catalyst to them becoming who they are today. So I just encourage you to stay focused. Uh, like I said, keep pedaling the bike, and you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it up that hill of success, and you'll be able to stand at the finish line uh, and walk over that success stage and say, "I made it."
I
Love you
love it.
guys. Appreciate the support.
Yeah. Hey, I will have my regular headphones back, even though
I
I
ain't
can
bring
rock
it
them.
up again, but since you want to
Yeah.
bring it up,
Whatever. Hey.
All right, and we out.
All right, peace.